I snuck in here. It's about a mile. Walk in here, roundabout way. But I'm on the far north end of this property. And I'm set up looking over a CRP field that connects. I just heard a doe bleat. I'll get to that here in a second. It's a secluded spot with no good access. I figured out a way to get in here. But anyways, I think legal light is like 6:15, and it's overcast. It's hard to, I can't see very well. Right now it's like 6:25, and it's barely light enough to shoot, in my opinion. But at 6:10, I thought I heard something down in the woods here. Sounded like maybe a deer, not very far away. I started glassing out in the CRP field, and I would say about 75 yards away, I just saw a dark body, big shoulders, and I could see a rack. It looked good, but it's really hard to tell, you know, when it's that dark out. There's no way I could even try to get it on video. Alright, I got the camera flipped around. So over there is a bean field, and maybe a half mile, 3/4 of a mile over is corn and some other ag. And then I got a block of woods here that's about maybe 100 acres. And the CRP field is, I don't know, 20 acres or so. But that buck and 2 does walked right down here. There's a little transition, a low spot where they ended up down into the woods. I think what I'm gonna do here is watch this field for another 10 minutes. And I'm just gonna creep right down along this edge very slowly. Glass out ahead. They might be bedded in the CRP. Put a stock on them. The CRP kind of hooks around here a little bit. But I got the wind is out of the southwest, so it's coming right up towards me. And that's why I set up here this morning, is to observe and see. And if I hadn't seen these deer, my plan was just to mosey on up here, look for sign, maybe dip into the woods, out. And there's a good rut funnel up there a ways that I haven't scouted yet, which I wanted to lay eyes on for when it gets to be end of October, November. But yeah, I got soaked on the way in. Tried crossing a creek in the ditch and water up to my thighs. So, I don't know, it's not too cold, it's like 50 degrees, so I'm doing okay. But yeah, need to get a GoPro or some other kind of camera that I can just wear so that I can take you guys along when I'm stalking, but I'll try to update as good as I can. So we'll see you in a little bit. Alright, it's about 7 o'clock. I have eased my way about 75 yards from where I was sitting at daybreak. I think I'm right where that buck and 2 does came through here. I think I got a good potential tree to set up on them. I'm gonna flip the camera around the other way here. Alright, so I got the camera flipped around. CRP's out here. You can see this hole right here. I believe that's where they dipped into the woods. Over here it's just a wall of buckthorn. There's kind of a browse line right here where you can see the deer have nipped the buds. big tree right here. Could be a good one. But I'm thinking the south wind like I have, this one back up over here would be better because the wind is blowing that way. And I would set up on this spot again on a south wind because they've shown me at least once that this could be a pattern they're on. It sounds crazy to say, but I feel like I keep getting a whiff, the scent of a deer. And I would be downwind of where those deer are, or it might just be leftover scent from my bow, from that doe that I took the other night. I just saw a buck right on that knob. I've only moved about 30 yards from my last video. It's taken me about 10 minutes to move those 30 yards. I'm going really slow. But that buck, I got my binoculars on him, and he trotted right down the hill, down here, and I lost sight of him. I don't know if he spotted me, or if that was just his natural moving. His tail wasn't up or anything, so it's hard to say. He looked like a nice, solid 2-year-old, maybe 3-year-old, like 110, 115-inch buck. Yeah, I'm not skylined at all here, and I've been moving slow, and it's probably 120 yards away. He definitely could have saw me, but I don't know. That 2-year-old buck I saw, he trotted down over this way into this main chunk of woods. I'm kind of in a corner here. There's a nice heavy trail. Some real fresh looking deer turds within the last probably 6 hours. This trail heads off into this thicker stuff. I'm just gonna continue easing my way up through here. So I wanted to kind of explain myself here, what I'm doing this morning. So I'm hunting. I'm trust me, a nice buck comes through, or I catch sight of him and I know where he's at, I'm gonna go after him. But really, I'm gonna consider today a win, just if I find some good sign or see some nice deer. And I already did that this morning, right at the crack of dawn. I saw that nice buck. So now I'm executing the other part of my plan, and that's scouting my way through this spot. And the risk is getting my scent in here and these deer, knowing somebody's hunting them now. It's the beginning of the season. I doubt anybody else has been back in here. So they're relatively unpressured. So I'm putting pressure on them right now. But I'm not really worried about that because you don't know what you don't know. I've never actually hunted this spot. I scouted it in the spring, saw some good things, but I'm trying to figure out where the big bucks are right now. And when I do figure that out, I'm gonna hunt the hell out of them and put an arrow through them. There's tracks, fresh tracks all throughout here. It's a really good looking sign, pretty beat down. Here's a great example of some deer browse. You can see where all these leaves have been chewed off. I don't know what plant this is. If you know what it is, let me know in the comments. I'd like to be able to know it by name. But you can see the deer are really eating pretty heavily on this stuff. This could be this is looking like a nice spot here though. There's, get up in a saddle and the split trunk tree. I'd probably want a westerly wind blowing it that way out towards the egg and the private. Could be a good rut funnel. All the heavy cover is over here to the west. So deer, bucks running the downwind side of the bedding area. I'm sure during the rut this place is on fire. I mean, it's the first time I've hunted it. I've been out here for 2 hours, if that. I've seen 2 bucks and 2 does, and I had another deer blow at me. I mean, I'd take that any day of the week. Look what I just walked up on. This little deer has probably never even seen a human. There she goes. I'm gonna flip the camera around here, show you guys something that just makes me sick. This is another reason why we can't let these bucks just run wild and do whatever the hell they want. Let me flip the camera around and show you what I got going on here. Some frickin' buck murdered the cedar tree. Cedar's my favorite tree. My favorite tree in the whole world. And some buck just trashed this tree. And now it's dead. He's gonna regret that. Not good. Not good. Now, I don't know this to be a fact, but I've heard others say when the turds are clumped together like this, big turds, it's usually from a bigger deer, more likely a buck, than when you get just the scattered pellets, if you know what I'm talking about. So what I'm gonna do is, on this trail, I'm gonna keep an eye out, try to see if I can find a big track or some more evidence that this is coming from a mature buck. What do we got? Buck sign. Probably just for me, little 1-year-old buck. I mean, this thing was like a pencil, but good to see. I'll take a minute here and show you my setup on just kind of the basics of my gear, what allows me to still hunt like this. But if I found just a super hot looking spot, I could jump up in a tree in just a matter of 5-10 minutes. Turn the camera around. So I carry the bow in one hand, and I got my pack, not backpack. This is my one stick I got strapped in here, and then inside this bag is my saddle. Whole bag probably weighs, 15 pounds or so. I got a bunch of other crap in there that I probably don't need, but it's a lot easier than trying to carry a climbing tree stand or another stand on your back that's clanking on everything. And I just marked this spot on my Onyx. I think it's a pretty good pinch funnel. Seen a lot of historical rubs. Probably a really good rut spot. I'm gonna swing my camera around the other way here and point out some of the features. So I came up from that area, and there's old rubs. Well, you can see one right here on that tree see that older rub. But there's a ditch right here, and it's thick. I mean, it's nasty. I don't even know if a deer would want to go through there. I think what's happening is there's this little 25-yard wide kind of open brushy trees where I think the deer are just skirting around this ditch and funneling around through here. There's not really any trees to climb or hunt out of. I think my tactic would be to get nestled in by like one of those cedar trees and hunt from the ground. In some respects, I don't like hunting from the ground just because you can't really see very far, but the thing is the deer's got to be within 30 yards or so anyways with your bow, so as long as you see them before it's too late, not a big deal. There is a kind of a taller tree here you could get up in, but you would stick out like a sore thumb in that thing. I'm looking over here to the south a little bit. There's some other bigger trees. There might be something you can get a set up in. Let's take a little walk over here and see. Here's another one of these old rubs. I mean, yeah, you can get a saddle in that tree, but especially once the leaves are off, yeah, I mean, you would not be able to move. Deer would spot you. There's one kind of, yeah, none of these are quite big enough to get up in. Over there further, another 50 yards, there's some that I'm gonna go check out. So I don't think I got any of that on video, but a doe and a fawn got up, ran over this way. It must have been bedded there, and I pulled my camera out and tried to start recording. And as I hit record, another doe ran out across. The problem is, I used my phone and I didn't have it on video mode, I had it on photo mode. So I'm sure I didn't get a video. But yeah, more deer, it's good. These frickin' mosquitoes are just crushing me right now though. I got a love-hate relationship with mosquitoes. I hate them because who doesn't hate mosquitoes? But I love them because they keep everybody else out of the woods. All right, up to my spot here where I'm gonna cut into the woods, 90 degrees. Nice heavy deer trail coming out right here. So this is great. I'm just gonna follow this trail. Or maybe let the mosquitoes carry me through there. Try to find some other trails running perpendicular to this one. Find a good pinch, set up funnel. All right, so I'm only about 5 yards into the woods here, and I think I found myself a buck bed. Look at how worn down that is. Got all this thick, nasty stuff as back cover. Trail heading this way, where I'm headed. And then an exit trail right here. There's some little fawn tracks. I don't know if you can pick that up very well. That's just from like a fawn. But I'm gonna look in this dirt here, see if I see any big, heavy buck tracks. This would be a really good spot for him to bed, and clearly something is. I'm down in this pinch point, and it's exactly how I was imagining it to be. Oh, sorry, I got some milkweed on my camera. Get the milkweed off, okay. So I'm facing north. That bed is right up ahead. About, I don't know, 60 yards. And you can see there's a trail here, another one going that way, and there's another one right over here paralleling. And there's no trees. There's no trees to get in except there's this cedar right here, which would be tricky with all those branches. I don't really want to cut a lot. Right over here, there's this bigger tree. Right there. That I think on east, southeast, or northeast wind, which isn't super common, but they happen. Come on over here. Here's that other trail I was telling you about. This cherry tree right here. I would just go. I mean, I'd literally only go maybe 8-10 feet. Put my saddle platform right there. Be facing south. My strong side. I'm right-handed, so these trails would all be strong side shots. And I mean, I like that. Got the wind blowing from the east somewhere this way, blowing it all that way. Got another bed right here, where you can watch right out in this opening. Just creeping along this trail. Just creeping along this trail here that leads up towards the oaks from those two beds I just found. This is looking like a pretty dynamite spot for a buck to live. I think that's deer. I don't know, it's hard to say. A little bit older. Maybe not. In the mosquito jungle. Alright, so I followed pretty much the only trail heading south from those beds. It's super thick, nasty stuff here between here and those homes. I don't see any human sign. I think these bucks are comfortable just bedding right up against this neighborhood. Nobody ever comes in here. You see that a lot in these suburban areas. You know, not everybody's a deer hunter. Not everybody wants to be out in the woods having fun like we do. But I wanted to show you this here. Just a little rub. Little tree rubbed. Looks like it's probably 3 weeks old. It's telling me there's a buck using those beds, and I believe he's heading out this way to where the stand of oak trees is. There are no oaks on the entire north end of the property that I've already walked through. And right now, this should be dropping, so I'm gonna keep following this trail. And the first oak tree that I see, I'm gonna mark it so I know. But I think to hunt these guys. I do it on any east wind. So my scent is just blowing out into this neighborhood. And there's been several trees that are 10, 12 yards off this main trail that I could set my saddle in and ambush them when they come through. It's really thick. I mean, I can't be cutting shooting lanes and all that crap, which isn't really my style anyways, but there are enough windows where you can sneak an arrow through. It ended up being real similar to that doe that I took on Wednesday type of setup, but I wanted to show you guys this rub bedding. I'll throw it all on a map so you can kind of visualize what's going on. So let's go find these oaks, hopefully some more sign, and I'm gonna throw a sit at this spot. First easterly wind we get, afternoon, evening. I mean, I've blown up this area a little bit, but I'm not really worried about it. What are you gonna do? Next year, I can come in here blind and hunt it. Yeah, frickin' mosquitoes are still just massacring me. Yeah, let's go see what else we find. So as you can see, it's opened up quite a bit. Really open woods. Big bucks, they don't like to be in this stuff during the daytime. What I found over here, another spot I wanted to look at, I see a big old oak tree. First one, furthest north, you can kind of see those darker green leaves there. And there's you know what, I think we got one right here too. There's a whole bunch of squirrel chatter around here, so I'm gonna walk over here and look to see if there's acorns on the ground. Sorry, I thought I just heard something behind me. If there's acorns on the ground, I think this is gonna be a good set. I need to sit it the next week or two. As you can kind of tell, this hunt has turned more into a scouting mission than a hunt, but it's all the same, right? So I got two big white oaks here. I don't see any acorns on the ground, but I thought I heard a couple drop, and I hear squirrels all over heck. So I don't know if the squirrels are just cleaning them up as fast as they fall or what. This area, there's definitely deer have browsed down this vegetation, so there's definitely deer activity here. There's not a whole lot of options for trees to get into to hunt right here. I think it could be done, but it might take some more post-season scouting to really nail down this spot. I like it, but I'm gonna head up into this bigger hardwood island again where it's more open. Look to see if I can find some fresh acorns, visually see them on the ground and any other deer sign, but I better get going home soon, otherwise my ass is grass, because we got a birthday party to get ready for tomorrow for our 2-year-old. So I better be on my way here. All right, so I'm taking a different trail out of here under these big white oaks. And this is fresh. This is from this morning. And that's big buck turns. So I'm gonna scout my way out of here, but I gotta find a setup for right here within 75 yards of this spot. I gotta figure out a setup and then take as many notes as I can and then get home before I'm in trouble here. Here's that trail where I found those turds. It's heavy. It's a decent sized track on it, but not a 4-year-old plus track. The vegetation's so thick. I think my best option would be to get in a ghillie suit on the ground right over here about 12 yards off this trail This is really the only runway I've seen here. It's so thick both sides. Deer are really only using this path, I think. I'd hunt it on any northerly wind. I like it. I like it a lot. The open woods is right up here, about 50, 60 yards. I could hunt in a tree up here, but I don't know. I'd rather be closer to where they're bedding. All right, I'm pumped up. I just found a really, really nice rub. I mean, it's not completely shredded, but that's a big buck. That's at my belly button, and I'm 6'4". You can kind of see the gouges in there. That's a mature deer making that rub. So I'm about 200 yards east of where those two white oaks were. And you can see behind me, it's all that open woods. And then here, it's thick again. So he's walking this transition. Yeah, this is good reconfirming sign. I'm as excited about finding this rub as I am seeing a big deer, I think. So, yeah, I gotta scoot out of here. I'm gonna keep scouting my way out. Put together a plan. I gotta get in here in the next week. I gotta sit this while it's fresh. I can't tomorrow. Got the big birthday party. Maybe Monday after work. But I'm gonna put a game plan together and get in here one way or another. And that's the beauty of having the saddle, is I can study the map a little bit more. Depending on pretty much any wind, I should be able to figure out a set where I can get in undetected and get up a tree and hunt one of these pieces of sign that I found. Whether it's this rub, the big turds, the white oaks, those beds further back. I think there's two. I think there's more than one big guy in here. There's been that much sign. I haven't documented every single thing I've run across, but I think the odds of shooting a Pope and Young buck in here are good, as good as anywhere. And yeah, I just want to mention too that, for years and years, I thought I was hunting, but I'd say it was more like hoping. I had good spots, good funnels, good places to sit, but early season, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I would just go and sit in a tree and hope to see something. And like this morning where I sit on the ground, 10 years ago, I would have been stoked just by seeing those deer, even if they're 80 yards away. I would have felt like I was in the game. This morning, I didn't even feel like I was in the game. It was cool to see. It was great to see. Who doesn't want to see deer when they're out hunting? But my main goal today was to nail down where a big buck is traveling consistently and bedding consistently so that I can go in and hunt them. I think that's the difference between hunting and hoping.